Welcome to Make My Vision Real, a local resource for starting and growing your small business. The show's founder and host is Susan Swartzwelder, a small business specialist who helps people start and grow the business of their dreams. Today's show is sponsored by Lori Gurrell at Upward Solutions Coaching and Consulting. Go beyond your current boundaries. Visit upwardsolutionscc.com. Now get ready to make your vision real. Here's Susan Swartzwelder.
Hey everyone, welcome to Make My Vision Real. This is our weekly show that focuses on helping people launch and grow small businesses. Today's topic is business from passion, and our guest today is Jennifer Cabic. Jennifer is an artist and owner of Silver Peanut Custom Jewelry. Her forte focuses on memory jewelry, including fingerprint charms, loved ones' handwriting in fine silver, longitude and latitude jewelry, and even dog nose prints in necklaces. She earned a bachelor's degree in fine and applied arts from the University of Akron and made a career in the printing industry for 25 years before pursuing her dream of creating art. She currently lives in Chagrin Falls, Ohio with her husband, her son, and 2 dogs, and enjoys working from home. When Jennifer is not in her studio creating beautiful jewelry, she enjoys helping other people discover and live their passions. She is also interested in studying natural health solutions and is an apprentice coach for greensmoothiegirl.com. So Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, sure. You have such a wonderful background. I'm sure we're going to have plenty to talk about. So as you know, this show is about people who have taken the inspiration that they have for doing something different and creating a world of their own, so to speak, in the business world, and finding a way to make a difference in people's lives through either inspiring others to do what they love or sharing a gift. And you definitely have a gift. I've seen your jewelry. In fact, you gave me a bracelet, I remember, that I wear all the time. And it's really wonderful stuff because it is truly a way to capture the essence of someone in a charm. So what I would like to do in the first part of this interview is talk a little bit about how you got to where you are. So did you wake up one morning and just decide that you were going to start a business for yourself? Tell us a little bit about how you came to that point.
Okay, well, I've always loved crafting, making stuff since I was very little. Decided I wanted to pursue an art degree, but I was told that I couldn't make a living as an artist unless I wanted to be a starving artist.
Right.
So that's why I picked graphic design.
Okay.
And the technical industry just kept updating, and I couldn't continue the computer education, so I ended up getting more in the customer service end of it instead of the technical end of it, doing the graphics. I loved being around people and talking to people, so I did the customer service, and I climbed the corporate ladder from my early 20s into my 30s and 40s, and eventually got into a sales position. So I was very happy working long hours. As people know in advertising and printing that now these days, quicker turn times.
Right.
So I was working 6 days a week, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day.
Wow.
And I didn't have any children. So I thought, that was going to be my life. I was hardcore corporate and didn't mind working the hours.
Right.
Well, then I had my son and my whole life turned upside down and I couldn't see doing those kind of hours anymore. I ended up quitting my job and just going into something part-time. And all along the lines, I was working with my jewelry, and I did art shows, craft shows. I opened up a website on Etsy, which is for people who make handmade art, jewelry, restore vintage stuff. And I toyed around with that and continued doing art shows, but it was never really anything serious. It was more of a hobby, but my heart was always there. I always lost myself when I was making things, and I was in my Zen zone.
I know that Zen zone.
It was
where
a great
time has no meaning. It's irrelevant.
It was a very good stress release for me. When I went back to work full time, just a little over a year ago, I realized how hardcore corporate was, and I did not like the environment because there were a lot of backstabbers. You get your little cliques. You have management who has no business being in management,
Right.
and just the way they talk to the people. They think they're motivating them and they're just beating them down. And I just didn't want that negative environment anymore. And I decided I was going to get my Etsy website going. I actually have 2 of them. And I met for lunch with a friend of mine, and the friend asked me, because he saw how miserable I was, why are you not making a living off of your passion? And I said, you know what, that's a good question. I really need to look at that. So when I was out cold calling one day in my neck of the woods, I stopped at a tavern, and I said, I'm looking to get out of corporate America. Are you hiring? And she said, as a matter of fact, we are. So I went back to my waitressing skills. That's always been my backup. When in doubt, you can always make money waitressing or bartending.
Right, right.
So I did that, and I started getting my Etsy site up and running and learning how to make it happen. I had occasional sales here and there, but I wanted to get daily sales. I wanted to replace my corporate income.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Well, I knew I had to do it. There was
Yeah.
just, it was in my heart. My gut was telling me, this is your time. This is
Right.
to do it. This is your time to do it. Do your passion, what you're good at. And this was my gift. This was my God-given gift. And I really had to make a go at it.
You were definitely talented.
Thank you.
Definitely talented. So how long were you, okay, so you were in the corporate world for 25 years, and then you got out to have your son, and then you went back. How long of a period of time were you out of the corporate world before you went back and sort of really felt that rub of, this isn't not feeling good anymore?
Well, I went back for, I was approached when I was waitressing, when I quit corporate first time, full time. And I was waitressing actually at P.F. Chang's. And a table I waited on, he's like, you're really good at what you do. I want you to come work for me. And I said, well, I won't do it full time. He's like, I'll hire you part time. And that was my first taste back in corporate America. And that was back in probably 2009.
Okay.
And I liked talking to the hospitals and the doctors, but then they wanted me to become a telemarketer because I was good on the phone. And I ended up staring at a white wall all afternoon and asking gynecologists if they received their gynecological catalog. And I'm like, I can't do this.
That's not very fun.
It's not fun. And I begged my husband if I could quit. And he said, you know, you can't quit yet. And I'm telling you, the stars aligned and the universe answered my request. And I ended up getting laid off. And my husband didn't believe me at first.
I bet, especially if you hated your job, right? Oh my gosh.
So that's when I knew I tried doing some network marketing that, just, it wasn't working out for me. And then I was actually approached through my LinkedIn profile to sell digital equipment based on my printing background.
Oh, wow. So your network through LinkedIn.
Yes.
Awesome. See, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you got to get one.
Unless you want to hide out from corporate America.
Yeah, right. But even still, once you make that jump, the relationships follow you, even once you step outside of corporate America. Because I think deep down inside, a lot of people that are in corporate America really want to make that jump. They really do, which is part of the reason why this show exists, is to encourage people that, you really can do this. I'm meeting more and more people who do it every day. It's amazing.
It's great. I'm telling you, I finally decided to follow my gut instinct. And that's when you have intuition. Everybody has built-in intuition like that. And when you know something feels very wrong, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right.
And I kept going back no matter what corporate position I took. I knew it was wrong. I just knew it wasn't within me anymore to do that. At one time it worked and now it didn't anymore.
Right.
And then I was supposed to be doing something not only with what I was gifted with, but it was to help others. It's, I make tchotchke jewelry, but this type of jewelry that I make actually helps people heal.
It does.
A loss of a loved one.
Yeah.
So I just went with my gut and I knew I had to do it. And I just never have felt so much peace before, knowing that I'm doing the right thing. I mean, I could put my head down on my pillow at night and sleep again, knowing that my morals, were just in the right place.
Right. Wow. And I know a lot about your background story, which I want you to share. And so, But going back to that intuition thing, I remember when you said that, it was a flashback for me because I remember sitting on my couch one day when I left corporate America and made the decision back in 2000. No, it was 1999. One Sunday night, and all of a sudden I just started bawling, and I couldn't figure out why. And finally, it dawned on me it was because I had this knot in my stomach, and the thought of going back to the office Monday morning, it was killing me.
Those were the Sunday night blues.
Yes, and it was killing me, and I felt physically ill.
Yeah,
and I decided at that moment that I'm going to make a change, and I did. I left the corporate world and went back to school and got a degree in software, and started software companies. That's what I did, and it just, but it's exciting, and when you hear that intuition knocking and it's telling you to do something, it manifests itself in so many different ways, mostly physical, right? To pay attention to me. I'm trying to tell you something.
Oh yeah. And when you pay attention, you would not believe how the sea just parts and things start happening. It's just amazing how things just align just to make it happen for you.
It does.
Because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about, friends and family. So when you decided that you were going to make this jump from corporate to following this dream, this artistic, starving artist dream of yours, right? What kind of support did friends and family give you? Did they think you were crazy? Did they support you? I mean, did you get a mixed bag? What was that like?
Well, my family's always thought I'm a little crazy, a little boheme, a little eccentric anyhow. So they were just like, yeah. They thought this was just my hobby. My husband's he's always backed me up. Mm-hmm. He's always been behind every choice that I've made, which
great.
I'm very blessed and grateful that he has allowed me to follow my dream. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been easy the entire time. Mm-hmm. Money has been tight, mm-hmm. but I'm not making a big corporate type income, but I am making a corporate income. Mm-hmm. It's just not as big as what I was used to. Mm-hmm. But it's building, and other things are happening, and more doors are opening. So my family sees now that I really was headstrong on doing this, and I put my whole heart into it, and they're proud of me.
Oh, that's great.
So they do support me. My friends have always been my biggest cheerleaders, always telling me I could do whatever I put my mind to.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And so let's talk a little bit about the type of jewelry that you make.
Okay.
So it's called remembrance jewelry, right?
Yes.
And so why don't you describe what that is for the audience?
Well, there's a story I want to tell you, and this is one that just really touched my heart. Last January 1st to be exact, I got a call. I got contacted through my Etsy website, and I take people's handwriting and I could put it into a piece of jewelry, a pendant. Mm-hmm. I could take kids' drawings and put it into a pendant. I could take a fingerprint, make a mold of it, and you could see the detail of the whorl in the finger. Well, this woman, Shirley, contacted me, and she was dying of cancer. And she wanted something to give to her family at her funeral. And so she sent me handwriting for her 3 daughters, her grandkids, and her husband. And when she would send the mail, she would always kiss the back of the envelope. Oh. And her grandkids always knew her as Dobby Doo. So she had the special message for each of them, and then I put that message on the front, and then I put her lip print on the back.
Wow.
So by almost a month had passed, and I felt like I've known her forever. We would just go back and forth. She sent me pictures of her family. I sent her pictures of my family. She just told me stories, and I told her I was getting ready to put them in the mail, and she couldn't afford all of them, and I worked out a deal with her. And she was going to give me a piece. She used to do beaded bracelets, and she was going to send me a beaded bracelet. And I ended up making all the pieces for her because I knew her time was short, and I wanted her I wanted her entire family to have a remembrance. Mm-hmm. So I put them in the mail, and I had gotten an email from her daughter that she didn't get to see him. She had passed away.
Oh.
And her daughter's oldest daughter, which was one of the granddaughters, was devastated she was so close with her grandmother. And she sent me an email after the funeral, and she said the whole time her daughter was holding on to that pendant with her lips up against that lip print, and she sleeps with it every night. And she said, even Dabidu can give wishes from heaven.
Wow.
And she said it was a necklace that helped her daughter get through the funeral and not be so devastated. So I just knew it was so healing. And then just a few months ago, I actually received a bracelet in the mail from her husband. And he wanted to thank me for that. So that's how I touch people's lives with my jewelry.
Yeah. And I know that there's a ton more stories that you have like that. And I remember you telling one to me where a woman had lost her child in childbirth.
And she had the little tiny footprints from I think it was an 18-week-old fetus.
Yeah.
And I created a necklace with those footprints on it. And on the back in Italian, it said, "My little angel." And she said that it's her security blanket, like her Linus blanket.
Right, right. And you do this for animals, nose prints and fingerprints and all kinds of things.
Yes.
You encapsulate that in a piece of fine silver,
yes,
or other precious metal.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's truly amazing stuff. The stories that come from that, these people
I've developed friendships.
Intimately with
I've developed
friendships. And
never met them in person, but we're friends online.
And you know so much about their lives and
pictures, stories.
Yeah, and their families are going to be able to take these moments captured in fine silver and pass them down through generations. I mean, think about what that means.
It's heirloom for them.
Yeah, heirloom. Heirloom. Oh, we have to take a break already. I hear the music. So stay with us because Jennifer's going to come back and tell us a few more stories about the amazing stuff that she does. So be back. And we are back. Thanks for coming back and joining us. We are with Jennifer Cabic. She is an artist, local here in Cleveland. She owns Silver Peanut Jewelry. She makes fine remembrance jewelry. She's been telling us some stories of the extraordinary experiences that she's had with her customers and the remembrance trinkets that she makes out of fine silver and Jennifer, I know that you have so many amazing stories to tell. And one of the things that really impresses me is the uniqueness of what you do and the fact that you found a way to help people heal and yet you're following your passion with it and you're making money, and that is just incredible. But before we move into the next segment, I know that you have a story about pets and how you help people remember their pets. And so can you share with us that story?
Yes, I have come up with a couple things for pets. I could do paw prints, nose prints, dogs, cats. But a friend of mine who actually helped me get into, say, why are you not making a living doing your passion?
Right.
His good friend, which is a common friend, lost her dog after, I think, 14 years. And you know how your animals are part of your family.
Absolutely.
So he asked me to come up with something special. And the dog was cremated, so I had requested some of the ashes. And the dog's name was Max. And one of Max's owner, Debbie, one of her favorite pictures is when they were at Mohican and Max was actually wearing a baseball cap.
Aww.
So I got that image and I made a locket all out of this fine silver. And on the front, it had like a little wax seal heart on it. And on the inside front cover was his name, Max, all in different type fonts all over the front.
Uh-huh.
And then I had an image of Max that underneath that in some resin were some of his ashes.
Oh, wow.
So that she could always carry a piece of Max along with her. And I was told when, she was given the locket that her and her husband, made him weep.
Aww.
And weep in a good way. It's a good
Yeah.
way to remember your loved one. But as I was trying to find on the backside, I was trying to find quotes about your pet. And of course, I have 2 dogs that are very dear to my heart. I sat there bawling, looking at all of these quotes, like, oh my God, I don't even want to think about, when I lose my dogs. But I cry when I make these pieces because I know the stories behind it. And
Yes.
I know the meaning of the pets or the loved ones. I know what it means to them. And so it's very personal to me. And I pour my love into every piece of jewelry I make because I
Right.
know it has a special meaning. We lost my grandma a couple of years ago. And for Mother's Day, for my mom, I had asked her she had a couple cards from my grandma. And I just love seeing my grandma's handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma always sent us cards. And so I had put a couple of special phrases front and back and gave it to my mom for Mother's Day. And she always wears it. And
Oh, nice.
so it's nice because it's helped her too. I see her holding it. And I've done the fingerprint. When my grandma was in the hospital, I got her fingerprint and made a fingerprint charm for my mom.
Nice.
And my mom always rubs it between her fingers when she's wearing it. So it's healing that way. It touches, you're still touching.
It's like a worry stone.
Yes,
or,
exactly.
And it's that I know that you're still there kind of thing.
And as with the nose prints, that's individual like a fingerprint. That's
right. For
so
the animal.
Oh, the texture in the nose is just fabulous.
Wow. That's just gives me goosebumps to hear these stories. And so that's got to be a tough part about the selected passion that you're doing with the emotional side of it.
Yes.
That's got to be.
Because I am an emotional person.
Yeah, but you're creative, and you're very right-brained, right? Is it right-brained? Yeah, with the creative side of it, and it's a little bit more emotional. But I don't know. To me, it just would be, oh my gosh, I would be just so upset all the time.
Well, I've learned to handle that. I was wondering how I would do with that, and I've learned to handle it. I don't internalize it too much. But I keep it, I make sure that, I stay connected that way because that's how I feel that my jewelry is good, is because I do put my whole heart and soul into every piece that I make for somebody because I know it's so special to them.
Right. So now that we know a little bit more about what you do on the remembrance side, you also make other custom jewelry, right?
I do.
I've seen a lot of your other custom pieces. You've been to some art classes and you're doing new things now.
I love taking classes. I love learning new techniques. I do art shows. So that's where I say it's my tchotchke jewelry. And that's my fun jewelry where I just, get a vision in my head and I put together a charm bracelet. Or I've been playing a lot with copper and etching metals and coming up with fun phrases or making cuff bracelets, making some with leather. Love working with resin. So you could put like little words and stuff underneath resin. And
yeah, that stuff is really pretty. I saw your posts on Facebook.
Thank you.
Very, very
Thank you.
nice. Very nice. So what would you say would be the hardest part of starting your business?
I was not very business savvy. My sister, who was my accountant, will be the first to tell you. She trained me well, keeping track of all my records. But it was hard. I think that's the hardest part is because you don't have the money to hire everybody to do what you want to do. So you're a one-woman. I'm a one-woman show where, I do have to try to do social media and take care of my books and try to fit that in, which is usually right before taxes are due.
Yeah, right. Me too.
I would say that's probably the hardest part. But, getting involved in some of the other stuff that I do, it's really honed some of my business skills.
Honing the business skills. Yeah. Well, even for someone who is very business brained, I guess, even me, I struggle with that too. You are a solopreneur, right? You're
Right.
a one-man show or one-woman show, as the case is, and you have to do everything, but it's almost impossible to do everything well. So you got to pick your battles on what you're going to do really well.
Right.
Right. So, so everybody struggles with that.
Right.
But so as your business has been growing, tell us about the growth spurt. So you started doing this in a fashion where the cash register started to ring sort of when it was in the hobby phase, right?
I opened
you were doing the shows.
I was doing the shows, and I always made a profit at doing the shows. And then back in 2008, I opened my first Etsy shop, which was my Silver Peanut shop. And I would make a sale here and there.
So you're hitting the 5-year mark here this year.
But that's when it was more of a hobby, and I wasn't really sure how to get it going. But it was actually last year for Etsy. And last August, I opened up my second Etsy shop, which is called Impressionisms. And that's where I do the copper stamped and etched latitude, longitude bracelets, necklaces, keychains.
What are those, the longitude, latitude?
Well, say a couple are getting married or where they first met. They would give me the address of where it's going to be or where they met. And I look up the latitude and longitude of it. It has,
that's really cool.
The numbers with the degree mark. And then I stamp that in there. So, to them, they know where the location is, but nobody else really does. And then I'll put on the little closure in silver, I put their little phrase like love always or first kiss or smooch or something like that, or their wedding date.
Nice. I like that.
Thanks.
I know we keep going back to what your jewelry is, and I'm trying to trying to talk more business side, but it's hard when you're the creative kind. It's fascinating.
In August, I opened up that second shop, and then that's around the time that I quit corporate and started waitressing. And it wasn't until October, November that, I spent from August till then learning how to get my Etsy shop noticed and have my listings noticed. And before I knew it, I was getting in 5-10 orders a day.
Okay. So, wow, that's a lot.
I had to quit waitressing. I couldn't go in anymore because I had to get up, start work, and then I worked till I went to bed.
So that must have been a fun
It was scary.
Milestone for you, though.
It was fun. It was eye-opening, and it was scary. I'm like, I wish I would have done this before. But if I had not gone through the heartache of going back into corporate, I don't think I would have been able to appreciate it as much. I really appreciate where I am now. I'm grateful. I will never go back to corporate America. Nobody will ever force me to do it. I just won't. I won't go.
You won't,
You can't make me do it.
You can't make me go. But so... because you had stepped back into the corporate world after you had already sort of stepped into the world of I can make a little bit of money as an artist kind of thing, you were getting validation at that point. But then when you went back, you had that contrast, right?
Yes.
And so when you finally decided to make that jump and quit that waitress job, which is your catch-all job for when all else fails, I can go back to waitressing, which is great, but you said it was still scary, right? Because why? Did you think that it was just a fluke?
I was afraid it was just going to be a holiday thing.
Okay, so it was around the holidays that you started to get all this validation, get all these orders coming in. Mm-hmm. And this was last year at this time? This was
just last year, this time like almost to the day.
And I think I remember that phone call. I remember you calling me and going, "You're my first phone call. Guess what I just did? I just quit my job." I remember that celebration. That was really cool. But so then you dove into the holiday crunch with the art of it, and you were very busy. And then the holidays were over with. And then what happened?
The orders kept coming in. I couldn't believe it. It was after the first of the year, and people say January's slow. I did not have a slow January.
Really?
It started slowing down in the summer, but it worked out good. It was my first summer fully present with my son being out of school. No more daycare. So we did swim lessons, and it was nice that it slowed down at that time because I got to enjoy summer with my son.
And you also were able to enjoy a little bit of creativity on your own without feeling pressure to make what people were ordering, right? You were able to expand the creativity a little bit more.
Right.
Wow. Great time, divine timing, right?
Absolutely.
It's just so divine. But so what are your biggest challenges you face now as you continue to grow? You just had a big milestone.
Yes, I hit over 400 sales on my
Woohoo.
one Etsy site. And my other
Nice.
one that I just opened last year is catching up quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
Thank you very
That is
much.
huge, huge, huge. So what's your big challenges now as you see, where do you expect Silver Peanut to go from here?
Well, there's something that's not made public yet, but I was chosen for something, and it will be made known in December. And it's going to make me become national.
It's going to catapult you.
Yes, I'm very nervous about it because a few years back I had taken a class from an artist, and he said, "Why aren't you national?" And I said, "I don't think I'm prepared for it. So I think I'm better prepared for it now."
Yeah.
And my name's finally going to get out there nationally.
Wow. That's huge. And so there's a lot of what Lori Gurrell would say, monkey mind around that, right? About, oh my gosh, all of the reasons why you shouldn't be doing that. But so are you going to be able to hire people to help you then?
I think
Do you think
eventually I will. Not yet. I'm
Not
not
yet.
there yet. Still got a lot of bills to pay from when I wasn't working.
You're right. We all have those,
Got to catch
right?
up on that.
Right.
But I think another thing, one of the hardest things working from home is staying focused. That looking at that laundry pile, seeing the dishes in the sink, people calling you because they know you're home, not realizing I'm not sitting at home, eating my bonbons.
Right. You work from home, you just don't have a real job, right? Yeah, right.
So I think that's hard, really making sure that I keep track to my schedule because it's
Right.
easy to get off track.
It is.
And before you know it, your day is gone.
Right.
So
And you're working well into the wee hours of the night.
Right. And I
Yeah.
try to squeeze in some time, and I try to make myself present from when my son gets home from school, making dinner, getting his homework done, getting him ready for bed. And then I'm usually so tired I go to bed when he goes to bed. And then
when's your Jennifer time?
I have Jennifer time.
Do you?
I take my classes. That's my Jennifer time, my play time. I have my girlfriends that are usually taking the same class I am. But it's also my family. I have my family time, and my family
Right.
time is mainly my Jennifer time, spending time with them.
Yeah. Awesome. So I often tell my clients that when you focus on the what, the how will follow. And so I find that almost everybody has an inspirational story around that. Do you have anything that you can share with us around you really knew that you needed to do something and then it's like the handwriting appears on the wall?
That day I was cold calling. I was out in Chagrin Falls, and I was going down the road, and I saw, can I mention where I used to work?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I was driving by the Burntwood Tavern, and my car automatically turned into the parking lot, and I didn't even think about it. I just got out of my car and I went in. I don't even think I talked to my husband about it. And I said, I need to do this for my sanity and for my health because I didn't like the morals I was living by having to stay in this job. I didn't like what I had to do to keep that job. So,
And you're talking about the printing job, right?
The digital
Right.
equipment job. And then I knew this is what was going to start. This was going to start it all happening. If I just go and I get out of the situation to get my mind, get all the poison, get all the negativity out of my life, things are going to start happening. So, excuse me, that was my time. And I knew it was going to happen. The stars would align. The universe would just make it happen. My gut was telling me to do it. So I knew I was going to be taken care of. And it worked. That's what it, if you follow your gut and you know something is right, the universe will make it happen. You got to listen to your intuition, to your gut. It is something guiding you that's where you need to be. And that's when everything else just lines up and it'll start falling into place, but you have to keep listening. You can't just sit back and not do anything.
Right.
You have to work at it. I mean, it's been a lot of hard work to get where I'm at.
Right.
But if you do it and just keep listening, okay, now do this and sit very quiet in the morning and say, okay, now what do I have to do today to get to the next step? And there's something that's going to guide you in whisper in your head. And it's your intuition, it's your gut, and that's what you need to follow.
Yeah, and it's hard to convince people that it really does happen, but it really does happen.
It does.
If you ask for an answer, it gets to the point for me that usually within 12 hours.
And be prepared.
Yeah.
Because, you need to act on it. If you're going to ask, be prepared to act on it.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah. That's inspired action. That's what I call inspired action, where you ask for it. And if the answer comes, you got to be able to act. And that's inspired action, and I have many situations where it happened to me, and I'm getting better at listening to that instinct.
Good.
So, and I'm hearing the music again, and we have to take another break. So be sure to come back. We have more to tell. Stay with us. And we are back. Thanks for joining us back here. We are with Jennifer Cabic. She is an artist and owner of Silver Peanut Fine Jewelry. We are talking about inspired missions for business. And Jennifer makes remembrance jewelry and some other very fine custom-made jewelry. And she's just an amazing person because of the meaning behind the jewelry that she makes. And it's just so inspirational. And so, Jennifer, we were talking about, focus on the what and the how will follow and the inspiration and all of that as we took the commercial break. What would you say is the best part about being an entrepreneur for you?
Well, next to being able to be fully present with my son when he needs me, it's given me a chance to learn and work with other people. Through my jewelry, I was introduced to who is now a dear friend of me, Maria Burrell, and she has invented a product, and I've been involved with her for probably the past 6 years, helping her launch this, and we're finally getting it off the ground. So I've learned a lot of business through what we've been going through, patents and marketing, websites, who to talk to. Don't be afraid to ask. And
what kind of product does she have?
Well, she dropped a box on her toe and lost her big toenail. And it was the beginning of summer. And she wears beautiful open-toe shoes. And instead of putting a bandage on, her daughter talked her into making a cosmetic adhesive wrap. It's like a bandage where it has a clear adhesive, but the pad of it's the shape of a toenail. So you put it on and paint it with fingernail polish, and it gives you the appearance of a healthy toenail. So we're finding that we're big in the runner community and podiatry community, and we are starting to make quite a few sales worldwide.
Wow, that is amazing. That is all from dropping a box on your toe.
Poor Maria, yeah, she lost her. It takes almost a year for your toenail to grow back.
Okay, now I did not know that.
Yes, I've learned a lot about fingernails and toenails, and
so she has a patent on this product.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you've been helping her along the search for all the different steps that it takes to get this thing out.
Yes. I met her when she had a provisional, right before she filed a provisional. And we found she wanted to keep all the manufacturing for the carton and everything here in Northeast Ohio. She did not want to send anything overseas. So that's why it took a while to get this out to market.
And so was she successful with that?
Yes, we have the cartons made in Toledo, and we have the products actually made at Gasco in Medina.
Wow, so you're talking really local.
Really local.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been
good for her.
Big learning experience. Yeah, she's a barber downtown Cleveland. She's a grandma, and she listened to her gut too, and she was not afraid. And that's what her inspiration is. The same thing. Maybe you should have her on one of your episodes because
I would love to.
She's
been
not
down
afraid
such
to
a great
ask.
road.
Oh yeah, and just learning from asking people, and she's been quite an inspiration to me too. And she's been a big backer behind my jewelry, and is always give me her wisdom. She's been a big help to me, and I love her dearly.
So she was exposed to some of the trials and tribulations of, what do we do to get this marketed? How do we get out there? And so you've been with her every step of the way.
Yes. And we launched it in October of 2011 at a podiatry show. And we have always taken steps forward, as fearful as it's been, not knowing. People are like, you guys are so successful because you didn't know any better. You were, you were a
do
business
it when you're young and stupid, right?
She's like, you're not a business person. That's why you weren't afraid to take some of these chances. So.
And that is so true. That is so true. They say you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes, I think more oftentimes than not, that's a blessing.
Oh, it was a blessing for us. Absolutely. We weren't afraid to ask questions, talk to people. Plus, cutting hair, she's a barber downtown. She knew a lot of people that put her in touch with people. So that's one of our next projects, is to write a book.
Yeah. And that's where the network is so important, through LinkedIn and the social media networking through Facebook. And, I know that I've had people help me expand my network quite a bit. And it's amazing how much people who don't know you read your profile in LinkedIn and they go, I really like what she has to say, or I like what he has to say, and I want to get to know you. And they just reach out.
Yes.
That to me is amazing.
Very cool stuff.
Because they see something where they can help you, and it's not a me approach. It's I think I might be able to help you, or I might have a client for you, or, and it's, I don't know, there's just something, there's a shift going on. It's, it's just, I feel like it's more of a social conscious business world out there, and the people are just being drawn to each other somehow.
Yes.
That's kind of how I feel about it. And so what other endeavors have you dipped your toe in? Has there been other things?
I also get into alternative healing because my body does not like synthetics. I have a hard time with traditional medicine. So I'm the queen of cleansing. I've tried, I don't know how many cleanses out there, and I found whole foods and green smoothies work the best for me. And I reached out to a website, greensmoothiegirl.com. And while I was doing one of their 26-day cleanses, and I said, I really want to share this information in the Cleveland area about how, your bodies are able to heal themselves. And so I am now an apprentice coach, and I am spreading the word on healing with green smoothies.
Wow.
How to make over your medicine cabinet with essential oils. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, and that's essential oils too.
And that's another passion of mine, is helping people. I want to show people that, they've got natural solutions that they could choose from.
Wow, you just don't stop, do you? What else?
I'm a busy girl.
What else do you have going on?
I can't sit still with that. Yeah. I can't tell you till December.
Well, right. But I am very anxious to hear that. Okay, so let's share a few nuggets of wisdom with the audience. So if you could share with the audience one or two things that you wish someone had told you.
I wish people would have said, instead of saying you're going to be a starving artist, I wish they would have said, you know what, if that's your passion, go for it. What do you've got to
be a little more supportive.
Exactly. And not be so fearful, because there was always that pull. There's something more to do. I should be doing something.
Right.
I feel like I should be helping people. That's my biggest thing. Go with your gut. If you know something's not right, or if you know something is right, that you should be doing something, look into it more, explore it, bounce it off your close friends, your loved ones, and you'll know.
Okay. So don't be afraid. And if people are negative, get away from them.
Yes. Negativity sucks it out of you.
Yes. And so real quick, if we could go back and do one thing different, what would it be?
You know what? I was thinking about that, and I would say I wouldn't do anything differently. I think all the hardships and everything I've been have led me to where I'm at.
Right.
And I think our life is a tapestry, and it's woven to play out exactly the way it does.
Right.
So I trust that everything, although it was not always easy, it was the right thing.
Right. Yeah. And it's not meant to be easy, but it doesn't have to be hard.
And it can be fun.
Right. Yeah. Right. Keep it simple. Well, if somebody wanted to contact you, how would they get involved with Silver Peanut and some of the other things that you do?
You could look at my work at silverpeanut.etsy, that's ETSY.com, or you could email me at silverpeanut@windstream.net.
Wonderful. Well, I think that's all the time that we're going to have today. Unfortunately, we have to wrap this up. So be sure to join us next week as we continue our series and building business around passion and necessity. Our guest will be Lori Gurrell, founder of Upward Solutions Coaching and Consulting. This is going to be a great show because she's going to give some tips and tricks on how to get past some of the crazy conversations we entrepreneurs have in our heads when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and we're pacing the floors going, what am I doing? What am I doing? So remember, this show is for you. So be sure to send your questions and comments to help@makemyvisionreal.biz. Thanks for joining us tonight. I wish you good luck and good business. Have a great evening.
You've been listening to Make My Vision Real, a local resource for starting and growing your small business. Visit makemyvisionreal.biz for more information on connecting to local resources. Send your questions for next week's show to help@makemyvisionreal.biz. Today's show was sponsored by Lori Gurrell at Upward Solutions Coaching and Consulting. Go beyond your current boundaries. Visit upwardsolutionscc.com. The show's founder and host, Susan Swartzwelder, is a small business specialist. Tune in every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. as Susan and her guests share ideas and resources to help you start and grow the successful business of your dreams.